Gising na! Halina tuklasin ang katotohanan sa mga nakaraan at nang tayo magkaroon ng kaalaman. Samahan mo kami ni Ate Jeriel, Ate Allen, Ate Chari, Ate Clarice, Ate Frank, Ate Missy, Ate Sam at Ate Rega sa pagtuklas ng katotohanan sa mga pangyayari sa kasaysayan, where all Filipinos deserve to know the truth behind those historical events. Tara na! Hoy! Gising na! Here's Ate Allen, Ate Jeriel, to introduce you the historical event that we will discuss for you. Tara na, Ate Allen at Ate Jeriel!
The first documented Catholic Mass in the Philippines was held on March 31, 1521, Easter Sunday. It was conducted by Father Pedro de Valderrama of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition, along the shore of what was referred to the journal of Antonio Pigafetta as Masawa.
The island's sovereign ruler was Rahasuayu when Magellan and comrades set foot on the grounds of Masawa. He befriended the Raha together with his brother Raha Kulambu of Butuan. In those days, it was customary among the indigenous and in the most of Southeast Asia to seal friendship with a blood compact. On instigation of Magellan, who had heard the Malayan term for it kasi-kasi, the new friends performed the ritual. This was the first record of blood compact between Filipinos and Spaniards. Gifts were exchanged by two parties when the celebration had ended. On March 31, 1521, on Easter Sunday, Magellan ordered a Mass to be celebrated, which was officiated by Father Pedro Valderrama.
Today, this site is widely believed by many historians and the government to be Limasawa of the Thief of Southern Leyte. However, until at least the 19th century, the prevailing belief was what the first Mass was held in Butuan. This belief is maintained by some people who assert that the first Mass was instead held in Masawa, Butuan. And now, we give you enough information. Ate Frank, together with Ate Chari and Ate Sam, will express our stand with this issue in historical event. Tara na!
Our team would like to specify first the definition of Mass. It is known as the practice among Christian people to honor and worship their God. And based on this geographical location provided by Alba and Pagafetta, this island of Limasawa in southern Leyte is the counterpart, and our team are strongest for the motion of this house that the first Mass in the Philippines took place in Limasawa. And I would like to point out is on the Father Collins account. Magellan and his men went to Cebu on April 7, 1521, but in the monument's description, the first Mass was held on April 8, 1521 on Butuan. How it's possible to go back to Butuan from Cebu from just one day, wherein Butuan is 236 kilometers away from Cebu, and the ship of Magellan that time are not fast enough. And to add, on the same day of the Mass, a cross was erected on the summit of a mountain, and according to Francisco Albo, on the summit of the mountain, you can see three islands from west-southwest, wherein Butuan can be seen northern direction based on the topographical details given by Albo and Pigafetta. It is described the present of Limasawa.
It's in Limasawa. The first Catholic Mass in the Philippines was held March 31, 1521, in Limasawa or Southern Leyte. The priest is Father Pedro de Valderrama, and the first Mass happened when Magellan and his troop reached Mactan. The church was declared as the national shrine for the birth of Christianity in the Philippines.
And the place where the first Mass happened, now declared as the national shrine for the birth of Christianity in the Philippines, and that is under the Republic Act 2733 or the Limasawa Law. National Historical Institute has studied this claim and already conducted that the first Mass happened in Limasawa. The first Mass happened under Philippine soil, and it is in an island lying at the southwestern tip of Leyte. On the other hand, Masawa in Butuan is not an island but a barangay Butuan City located in Agusan River. Another finding was found, which is the measurement of distances between Homonhon and Limasawa, between Limasawa and Cebu, as computed by Limasawa Law. It matches the description made by Pigafetta on his first voyage around the world.
Stating our stand cannot be valid unless we present our evidences. Here's Ate Clarice, Ate Missy, and Ate Reka to provide their evidences. Halina, makinig na.
For the evidences, we have Antonio Pigafetta and Francisco Albo. Pigafetta was the chronicler of the Magellan expedition in 1521 that brought Europeans for the first time to the archipelago, while Francisco Albo was the pilot of Victoria. Pigafetta and Albo were eyewitnesses. The island of Mazawa is identical with what is called in modern maps the island of Limasawa. The latitude given is precisely as 9 and 2/3 degrees north, corresponds substantially to the actual latitude of Limasawa. Magellan's fleet did not touch of Butuan or any part of Mindanao on its way from Homonhon to Cebu. The first mass on Philippine soil was not offered at Butuan, nor at any other point in Mindanao. Using the primary sources available, Pigafetta's account and Albo's log, a crucial aspect of Butuan was not mentioned. The river Butuan is the riverine settlement situated on the Agusan River. The beach of Masao is the Idea Delta Sweet River. It is a curious omission, the account of the river, which makes part of a distinct characteristics of Butuan geography that seem to be important to be missed.
Documents written during Ferdinand Magellan's historic expedition around the world, reports and testimonies of the survivors who managed to make it back to Europe, chronicles and other primary sources by authors who interviewed the survivors and who consulted their documents, as well as maps and nautical charts, and secondary sources that years later interpreted the information provided by the primary sources and the testimonies transmitted over time. The documents, primary sources, and maps from the 16th century confirm that the island of Masawa was the site of an Easter Sunday Mass on March 31, 1521, and that on a hill on the island, a cross was raised to be seen from afar. The geographic description, the analysis of the directions, the revision of the maps, and the reference to the island of Mazawa between 1521 and 1565 must identify it with modern-day Limasawa. Up until 1921, it was believed that the event was held somewhere near the mouth of the Agusan River in what is today the municipality of Magallanes, Agusan del Norte. The shift to the Limasawa tradition happened following the publication of a transcription of a logbook from a pilot of the ship Victoria, one of the vessels in the Magellan expedition, stating that the crew placed across on an island called Masawa, whose location is closer to Cebu.
NHCP Chairman Escalante said that the panel unanimously agreed that the evidence and arguments presented by the provocateur and advocates are not sufficient and convincing enough to warrant the repeal or reversal of the ruling on the case by the NHI or National Historical Institute, wherein the issue of the execution of the historic mass was earlier resolved by the NHI, the forerunner of the NHCP, through two panels of experts, the first led by former Supreme Court Justice Emilio Gatcaico in 1995, and the second by historian Benito Ligarda in 2008. Both panels ruled that the site of the 1521 Easter Sunday Mass was Limasawa Island.
A really interesting story about our history was opened. We find out the truth and we learn again. Together with the Ates, we find out what was the real thing. And I hope you learned something new in our show. Sana'y nagising ka, kaibigan. O paano? Sa susunod na episode liha, gising na!